Listen close. Tonight, I want to talk to the people who feel mentally exhausted lately. Not weak, not lazy, just flat out exhausted. Because everywhere you look right now, people are carrying invisible stress, political stress, financial stress, future stress. And after a while, your nervous system stops asking, is this dangerous? And starts assuming that everything is. I think one of the hardest parts about modern life is that we're expected to function normally while constantly absorbing abnormal levels of information. Every single day, there's another headline. The economy's collapsing. The country's doomed. Your side is losing. Your future is gone. Be angry. Be scared. Pick a team. Fight strangers online. And if you stare at that long enough, your body reacts like you're under attack because biologically you kind of are. Your brain doesn't fully understand the difference between physical danger and emotional overload. That's why doom scrolling at midnight can make your chest tight, can bring on a panic attack. That's why arguments online can ruin your mood for hours. That's why some people wake up anxious before they even get out of bed. Their nervous system never fully shuts off. And honestly, folks, I think a lot more people are living in survival mode than they realize. Not because bombs are falling outside of your house, not because they're in the middle of a battle, but because uncertainty is. And uncertainty messes with humans deeply. Historically, people only worry about their family and their town, their immediate survival. Now we're carrying the emotional weight of entire countries every single day. That's a lot for the human brain, especially when algorithms profit from emotional reactions. Fear spreads fast, anger spreads faster, outrage spreads the fastest. Calm doesn't go viral, peace doesn't trend. A balanced perspective usually gets buried under somebody screaming in all caps. And I'm not saying people shouldn't care about politics. I'm not saying ignore economic problems. I'm not saying just stay positive. Some of these concerns are real. People are struggling financially, people are struggling emotionally, prices are higher, trust is lower, people feel divided. A lot of families are stressed, and that's real. But there's a difference between being informed and being psychologically consumed. That line matters because if your mind stays trapped in constant fear, you stop living your actual life. You stop noticing your kids, your spouse, your hobbies, sunsets, music, quiet moments. You become mentally trapped inside a future that hasn't even happened yet. And that's where the anxiety steals people. A lot of people. Not just through panic, but through constant anticipation. What if this happens? What if things get worse? What if everything falls apart? Meanwhile, life is still happening around you. Your family grows, time passes. I've noticed something lately. A lot of people aren't even resting anymore. They're distracting themselves. There's a big difference. Rest calms the nervous system. Distraction simply keeps your mind occupied long enough to avoid hearing yourself. And when you can't hear yourself think, that's when your problems start. And eventually the stress catches up. That's why people feel exhausted after doing nothing at all, because mental overload is still overload. Your brain burns energy too, especially when carrying fear constantly. And let's be honest, some people are addicted to the stress now. Not intentionally, but they've consumed chaos for so long that silence feels uncomfortable. Peace almost feels suspicious, like their brain needs another headline just to feel normal again. That's not weakness, that's conditioning. And if you're feeling this lately, I want you to hear something very clearly. You do not have to emotionally attend every argument that you're invited to online, or in person for that matter. You don't need to absorb every crisis to prove that you care. You don't need to destroy your nervous system trying to predict the future. It doesn't make you ignorant. It makes you human, makes you normal. Sometimes the strongest thing a person can say is, I need to step back for a minute. Not forever, just enough to breathe again. And honestly, I think people need more grounding now. Real grounding. Not fake motivational quotes, simple human things. Go outside. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. Watch the sky. Cook food slowly. Laugh with somebody. Play music in the car without checking your phone. Remind your nervous system that life still exists outside the screen, because it does. And I think another thing people desperately need right now is community. Not some fake online community, a real community. Not follower counts, not outrage groups, not people bonded entirely through anger. Actual conversation, actual connection. That's part of why I created Evolve Minute with Ryan. Not to scream at people, not to tell everybody what to think, but to create a place where people can slow down mentally for just a minute, to think, reflect, breathe, because the world already has enough noise. Sometimes people just need a voice that reminds them they're not crazy for feeling overwhelmed. And if these conversations help you feel grounded, follow the page. Stick around. Because over the next few months, we're going deeper into psychology, stress, attention, identity, emotional overload, relationships, masculinity, purpose, all of it, everything that we can think of. Not from a place of perfection, just real conversation. Because truthfully, I think people are starving for honest conversation. And maybe that's part of evolving too. Learning how to stay informed without being consumed. Learning how to care without collapsing. Learning how to stay grounded in a world that profits from your panic. That phrase matters. Listen close. A world that profits from your panic. Remember it, because fear is expensive. It costs sleep, energy, focus, presence, and joy. And if you constantly feed fear, eventually fear starts feeding on you. So tonight, protect your peace a little, not by ignoring reality, but by remembering your nervous system is part of reality too. Take care of your mind. The world pulls hard enough already. Be the spark. Ignite change. evolve 1 minute at a time.